So I've been a little obsessed with shorelines lately. And I've taught a lot of you how to do perspective, which is seeing things in 3D. And we've done roads and buildings. So I thought it would be fun to apply those principles to the beach. And basically I've drawn my horizon line and placed my vanishing point. And just like I would if I was drawing a road, I'm drawing several lines that spread out from the vanishing point in a series of diagonals. I'm not using a ruler for this because I'm not making a road. These are waves on the ocean. So once I've given myself these couple of guidelines, I'm able to go back in and I'm going to change the angle of my pencil so that I get a wider line. And I'm going to be imperfect on purpose. So I'm varying my pressure and kind of letting my hand wander a bit. And you don't want them to be like super perfect or incredibly lined up with each other because waves are more naturally flowing than that. So I just try to let the pencil guide where it wants to get my ups and downs in this line. This wiggly line, it's a little more imperfect. And over here, this would be like where the really thin white water is, of all the water being pulled back towards the waves. So this one I'm going to make a very light line with bigger curves. Now, this is just the basics, but having done this, I'll do some erasing of my guidelines because my guidelines are a little too nice. But you can begin to see how those waves are coming up successively along to the beach. But it's still, you know, there's nothing in the distance, so it doesn't look like anything yet. I've decided that I want to put some rocks in the distance, and maybe a lighthouse or a bridge. So from over here on the left, I'm going to kind of wiggle up and down imperfectly, like a hill of rocks is kind of reaching the ocean and having an impact. And of course this line here would not be that straight because the rocks are going to be irregular and the water is going to come up to them, but it won't be quite as smooth as it originally was. There might even be like a cliff, or I don't know, since I'm making this up, I can kind of do what I want. And it'd be hard to draw a cliff here, but I can throw in maybe a little building, a beach house in the background. And I've shown you before to draw the corner of the building, extend that corner towards the vanishing point. Take this rectangle that's happening here. Draw a line on the other side of it, then erase all those guidelines. Don't need them anymore. Kind of like an ice cube on the beach right now, but you know, that's how they all start. I can maybe peek that roof. Gonna need a way in. And this is angling down towards that vanishing point also. Keeping all my verticals parallel. I've said that to you in class many times. And I think it'll be like an umbrella rental shop. So we'll throw in a sample for people to know that they can come here and buy their umbrellas to put on the beach. So I think it's coming together. Yes, it's just basically lines so far. I know we all love our sunsets, but since I'm working in ordinary pencil and I don't know what materials you have at home, you're going to have to, use your imagination. But one of the best ways to make something really light, so if the sun was here, for doing a sunset and the sun is the brightest part, then what I should do is use the side of my pencil and shade in where that sun glow would be. And you're going to color in everything else. You're just going to gray down that paper. Just gray, 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 gray. Because the only way to make that sun look bright when you're not using colors is to make the page look dark. Nighttime dark, but and soften that up with your finger. It doesn't look like pencil lines. And another thing that you can do is use your eraser to go in and clean up where you want the real brightness. And I'm going to shift this over because I need my right hand and I'm hitting the camera. We can start to fade out some of those, like the sun's going to glow on a cloud, and make the bottom part of that cloud like lighter and colored. So once you've done your gray, you can erase where the clouds are hitting, or where the light is hitting the clouds. On the bottom. That's pretty basic so far. We can help make this all look lighter by placing all of these rocks in silhouette, by making them dark. Can you see how that placing this very dark just made that sun so much brighter? Before it was like, miss, looks like you're making moon in a night sky, because we didn't have that contrast. The contrast of the darks and the lights is what will make that brighter. Now, if the sun's right here, everything in this way is backlit, kind of like when you're taking a photograph and the light's behind you and then your face is all dark. Well, in order to make the sun look brighter still, we're not going to go as dark as these rocks. In fact, I might even darken them up some more because I'm only using a number 2 pencil. And I know that's more gray than black. But right up against that sun, let's make that darker. Lighter than the rocks, we want to do that far away horizon line of the water. So we're also going to bring that gray down in here for the water. And of course the water is going to be lighter, closer to us. A lot more crashing foamy waves will be there. But right now we're just trying to take care of making the sun in the background look bright and have some perspective, meaning we're making that ocean look like it's going away from us. Size relationships does a lot with that too, if we want to make something look really far away. One of the things we can do for that is this house is close to us, so maybe over here on the cliff we can put a silhouette of a lighthouse that's going to warn people from, in their boats, from crashing onto the rocks. So by making this smaller in scale than this house, we're making it look further away. And that's kind of helpful because you don't have to get into a lot of details, crazy details that would bog you down. So there we have a lighthouse in the distance. Maybe we can even give ourselves a little stick figure of a person that's standing on the rocks, looking out at the sun, maybe. I know you can't see that too much, as I've made them quite so tiny. Give giving a little indication of some kind of arm, but it really is just a stick figure because at that distance, that's what we see. Okay. How do we make this look waves now? What do you think would be lighter, the water or the sand? Because we have this range of grays, and now we have things that are detailed towards us. We got to show that the white paper would be the foam on the waves. That means, just like over here with the clouds and the sun, we've got to gray the paper and then remove some of that gray in order to make the whites. So I'm going to use a horizontal motion, the side of my pencil, getting some gray in here. And then my teacher always taught me in high school that your darkest dark is next to your lightest light. So if I want this wave that's close to me to have some detail, I want to go in and make a really dark line right where the foam on this wave is sort of crashing down. Give that a bit of a curve. And then I'm going to fade that into the shadow that the water would make. And this is what's going to make the crest of that wave look white and foamy. I'm also using sort of a curved line under here. You see in surfing pictures, you know, of the surfer going down the tube. So that curved line is the water sort of like rushing up and back towards it. And sort of a stylized little hook. So even though the dark here makes things look further away, the dark over here that is much closer to us in perspective is going to make our foam on the waves brighter and have some kind of difference. Yes, I'd love to do this with colored pencils, but I don't know if you have colored pencils at home, and I want everybody to have the opportunity to draw something fun and cool. That's why I'm using lined notebook paper, even though, you know, in my classroom I can't stand that. But, you know, we make adaptations when we're online learning. So I'll stop the video here for now and post it and allow you to ask me questions specifically about how to do it, and maybe make suggestions to me about what to do next. And we could make this like a little dialogue back and forth and create a picture like this together. So I know you can do video on TikTok, so if you want to film yourself drawing it, maybe do a practice one first. Tell you what, I did. Where'd it go? Before I did this one, I made another one because I was not sure if it would go well. So you can see this one's a little different. Same principles. Horizontal line, vanishing point, using those diagonal lines that spread out as they get closer to the viewer. You know, a wiggly line to create a cliff with an uneven line down there to show the rocks. Whereas over here where there's not rocks, the water is nice and flat and still. So I'm just going to post this. I don't even know if I'm going to call it an official lesson. It's just something that I wanted to share with you and sort of challenge you to do. So I'm calling this the Shoreline Challenge. And yes, aren't I skilled at making videos? So I'm so interesting. Where'd that page go? Hello. So again, looking at it, we started with the horizontal line across the page, a vanishing point placed, and then coming out from the vanishing point, diagonal lines that spread out as they get closer to the viewer, and creating some distance by giving ourselves this like cliff line of rocks to look at, right? When it's just a horizontal line in the sun, it really doesn't create distance. So we have to sort of fake what we see back here, create that push of things going further away and pull of things being closer to us. In order to get our sun shape here, I did not draw a line. I suggested an area and colored outside of it and not inside of it. So as I said, I'm going to post this, and I'm hoping to hear some comments from you, suggestions, or see pictures of what you've done, and see if we can do some drawing together this time instead of me just posting pictures and saying, okay, draw that. All right, miss you guys, and I hope you enjoy this and want to do this, and if you do, I can make another one and go into more detail. Bye for now.